The title of this podcast is What is your number of reps to get to mastery? This was inspired by a podcast interview between two sports personalities. One guy hosts a show, and the other guy is a former professional football player in the National Football League. And they were evaluating a young guy who's in his third year as quarterback of a team. And they were talking about how he often gets hurt. And for the first couple of years, it was thought that the reason he was getting hurt was because his offensive line wasn't able to protect him for various reasons, injuries, inexperience, things like that. And the last year, however, he's getting hurt. And what they noticed is that it had nothing to do with the offensive line. He was putting himself in positions to where he was getting hurt and he was making poor choices with the football, leading to turnovers. And so what the former player said is that I'm not sure he's working hard enough because that's within his control to work on those situations in which he protects himself, he protects the football. I don't see him improving in that area. I don't think he's training that part of the job. And he gave an analogy that you have to just keep working. You don't know when that next rep or which rep is going to be the one to where you go from working to improve a skill to mastery, to the point to where you're no longer doing the skill to get it right. You've done it so you do it so much that you can't get it wrong. That's when it becomes mastery. You cannot get a shot wrong in that case. And so he gave an analogy about Kobe Bryant. And what he said was the Kobe we know, let's say that for all the shots that Kobe takes on a basketball court, that to get to mastery of that shot to where it is automatic every time he shoots it, whether it's a mid-range shot, whether it's a three, whether it's on the baseline, or whether it's at the elbow or the top of the key, that each one of those spots, it requires Kobe 20,000 shots from that spot to where that shot becomes automatic for him, no matter what the game situation, whether it's in practice or whether it's in a championship game and it's the last shot to decide the championship. And let's say there's 20,000 shots, but Kobe stops at 19,999. We don't get to know who Kobe Bryant is if that happens. Not the way we know him now. So he kept working and working and working with no idea of which shot would be the one that would lead to mastery for that particular spot on the floor. So I think of that as it relates to this one guy, this football player. They were like, you know what? If I was coach of a team, this is what the NFL guy says, if I was coach of a team, I want a guy who's working tirelessly to get to his ceiling. He doesn't know where it is, but he wants to get to that ceiling because when he gets there, one more rep is going to lead to mastery of a skill that he's working on. And he says the problem that I have with this athlete is that he's not interested in finding what his ceiling is. You may not get it, but I want somebody who's working to find out what the ceiling is. And I think about that. I'm obviously trying to do that on a pickleball court. It's unlikely that I'm going pro, but I really, really love drilling to really master it. And I think to myself, like, I don't know which rep is going to be the one to where I finally feel like this two-handed backhand is can't miss, or that this top spin dink is a can't miss shot. I don't know which rep it is, but I know it's out there, and I'm just going to keep working on it until I get it. But I think about it with my practice. There are certain things that I feel like I have really, really progressed. I don't know if I've mastered it, but I've gotten really good at it. And one of the things is letting go of certain things. There were things that would offend me and bother me before. And all I knew is I do not want to suffer over that again. I don't want to do it. And one of the areas that's easy is complaining about the heat in Arizona. I said, I do not want to spend another day in the summer in Arizona in my life complaining about the heat. So I just kept practicing. Every time my mind wanted to say something about it, I would say no comment. And before you know it, I don't complain about the heat in Arizona anymore. Just don't do it. The same thing with people that don't say good morning. At Mayo Clinic and other places, I'm saying good morning and hello to everyone. And I remember being offended that people didn't say hello back. And I said, I don't want to hold a grudge with people when I see them again and they didn't say hello to me. And I don't want to be a person who says hello for the payback of somebody saying it back to me. I'm saying hello or good morning because I want to show people kindness. I want to serve the moment that's in front of me. And part of that is connecting with other human beings. Whether they do or not is their path, but this is mine. So I worked on letting go of needing people to say good morning or to greet me back or to say thank you. I really worked on that. So now I feel like I've mastered that. It doesn't matter to me one bit if someone doesn't say hello to me. I had a great opportunity to practice it yesterday when I was at the hospital. Another example of it is for me is when people have different views than I have about the way things should go, letting go of that. And I just worked on it and worked on it and worked on it and worked on it. And now I'm able to let it go. I've also worked on letting go that people have different styles in which they lead. And I report to leaders at my job at Mayo Clinic. And there's a leader who that every email, or not every, but a lot of emails or responses lands on me as they don't get the work that I do or aren't as supportive of the work that I do. And I remember that I had this happen with a previous leader. And I said, I'm going to use this experience with this leader to let go of needing them to be a different leader. They're the leader that they are. And it's my job is to serve the moment in front of me, be respectful, be professional, and deliver on what they're asking me to do, period. And I worked and worked and worked on it with this leader from years ago. And so now when a leader shows up and they have a different style or a different approach, I'm able to practice acceptance with their approach. But I worked on it. And so I didn't know what rep it was going to be with that first one or two leaders to get to this point, but I just kept doing it, kept doing it. And I just try to apply that to every experience in my life. And I hope that if there's something out there that you're struggling with, whether it's getting up in the morning and honoring your commitment to go work out or to stay committed to your nutrition, and there's always up until now, there's been a reason in which you couldn't do it, that you practice getting another rep and not listening to your mind. No, I don't want to go to the workout. No, I didn't get any sleep last night. No, this is the only thing that's on the menu. All those things, and just keep making a different choice that's aligned with your goals. And then eventually, you won't even listen to your mind when it has something to say about going to work out or making a healthy choice when it comes to eating. The same thing in your relationships. There's going to be this urge to want to say something or to come back or feel offended or hurt. Like resist the urge to let that be the case for you. And before you know it, you're not easily offended, and all you do is you either practice noble silence in spaces to where people are not getting along or they don't have a practice, or you find a way to contribute some positive energy and sprinkle kindness in that space. But you keep doing the work over and over and over again. It becomes easier. And then one day you hit that one rep that gets you beyond the ceiling. But when you do that, you're practicing mastery. This is exactly what I set out to do over 10 years ago when I was suffering a lot, and ToBeRe had a lot of uncertainty around it. And and all I wanted was inner peace. That's all I wanted. That was a path that I put myself on 11 years ago. And that's a path that I remain on today. Is every choice I make, I am asking myself, is this the path that leads to inner peace? Period. So I hope you do the same thing. Get those reps in.